We're going live. What is going on, everyone? We are live 2 minutes early. I said, screw it. I'm going live. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another beautiful Friday. It is Friday Night Live. Getting started a little later than usual at a 4:30 start time. Had a lot going on, but we are here. We got some awesome stuff to talk about. Let me get to the folks already hanging out. Caleb. Hey, Caleb, I hope you got my email. I got your stuff. Again, big shout out to Caleb, actually, for winning my 5K subscriber contest. We're almost at 7K now. I got your package all ready to go, Caleb. It just needs to go out. I'll probably get to the post office on Tuesday, most likely. Hopefully, I'll be sending out my submission to CGC that same day as well. So thanks for hanging out tonight. Remy, X11, what's going on? Dirty Ways, what's up? What is going on, guys? Thank you for hanging out. Who else we got in the chat? Evan, what's going on, Evan? So, yeah, a lot of stuff to discuss tonight, guys. John, thanks for being here. Oh, that's awesome, John. A journo shirt. That's so awesome. Appreciate that. Ultra Maximus. What is going on? Tony, what's going on, Tony? Thank you guys so much for being here. Okay, let me give a rundown. I'll probably repeat this a few times in the beginning of the show. This is what we're going to do. All right, we got an unboxing, and I already heard Caleb talking about Red Deadly Knife going to make an appearance today. We're going to get into this package right here. All right, then I'm going to do a quick review of this independent comic book, Calico. Here comes Calico. This is issue number 2. I did a review on issue number 1 from Sigma Comics. Their information is below. We'll get into this and talk about this a bit. What's going on, Louis? From there, we were going to talk about variants, and we still are. I did a video about a week and a half ago or so discussing, are variants ruining the market? Are they a bad thing? Are they a negative thing? And you guys chimed in. I actually asked in that video, I said, leave your thoughts and comments below. If you like variants, why do you like them? Why do you collect them? Do you collect them to flip? Do you collect them thinking that they're going to gain value? Or do you spend more money on them just because you like the art and so forth? So I'm going to be reading your guys' comments. But before we get into that, something came up just before the show today, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this before we talk about variants, and that's top 10 videos. All right, we're going to be talking about top 10 videos today as well. Making sure I had my Essentia pH balanced water before I get into it. You guys know how I do. Gotham Knight, what's going on? Tricky. So we are making some of you Patreon members, big shout out to my Patreon members, moderators of the channel. So I saw that you guys, some of you replied saying, yeah, sign me up. I haven't put that through yet, except for Peter, because he was the first one. He said, sign me up. So if Peter shows up today, Peter will be a moderator for today's show. But I believe I know Tony reached out. Tricky, you might have reached out as well. There was a couple other people that said, yeah. Oh, Dan reached out saying, I want to be a moderator. So to all my patrons that have responded, I will get on that by next week's show. You guys will be moderators. So thank you all. There's Peter. He is here. What's going on? Yeah, one of my favorite movies, Dead Presidents, for sure. So all right, let's see. Actually, let's see. Peter, want to make sure. Okay, I got to make sure that I get the moderators in correctly and that you guys are officially moderators. Miguel, what's going on, Miguel? Pedro. All right, lots of awesome people in the house. So again, guys, I want to let you know of all the links below. If you are tuning in and you're not subscribed to the channel, please take the time to do so. I got a bunch of awesome links below as well. Of course, our comic book canon YouTube link is below. For those that don't know, we have live shows every Friday night, always after this show, Friday Night Live on the Comic Book Canon channel. Really awesome show. If you guys aren't watching it, you're missing out. Go sub us over there, and I hope to see all you guys over on Comic Book Canon. Today we have special guest comic book Andy hopping on with us as a guest co-host for tonight's show. I also have links to my Patreon website below if you want to help support the channel by becoming a Patreon member for only $3.99 a month. Of course, you could become a YouTube member for only $1.99 by clicking the join button that's down there as well. Both memberships get perks. And you guys can see that once you go into the website or click the join, and it'll tell you what you have, including exclusive entry into my contest, Patreon-only contest, and extra entries into my YouTube contest as well. So with that being said, oh, Peter's got the wrench. All right, sweet. Yes. So Peter is official. All right, guys. So again, I'm going to repeat myself, let a few more people get in, and then we're going to get into the first thing. Check the links below. If you're not subbed, please do so. Sub up to Comic Book Cannon. We're reaching, I'm reaching 7,000 subscribers. We're almost at 700 subscribers with Comic Book Cannon. Can't wait to hit that 1K mark over there. We're going to have a big contest when we do. So again, I'm going to open this package up with you guys here. I'm going to do a quick review of Here Comes Calico, issue number 2 from Sigma Comics. We're going to talk briefly about top 10 videos. All right. And then we're going to dive into variants and what they mean to the hobby. And I'm going to be reading off your guys' responses. So with that being said, I think we could go into opening up this book. How about that? Let's do it. My best bud, Red Deadly Knife. For all of you guys know, me and Red Deadly, we've been through a lot in the past. And a while back, I felt like it was time to retire Red Deadly Knife. But he's back by popular demand. I mean, you guys, so many of you, I miss Red Deadly Knife. Where's Red Deadly Knife? So he's back. So let's do the dang thing and get into this package. Yes, I got some awesome books to show off on Fresh from the Comic Shop on Comic Book Canada tonight as well. And I know some of you submitted your hashtag FFTCS entries. I saw some fire this week. All right, what do we got in the... That is not... I mean, it's in a mailer, but it's not taped. And it's kind of thrown around. Not very happy about that, but it is, I will say though, it's in a magazine bag and board and then in a regular bag and board. So it's well protected. I wish you would have taped it in there still. But it's well protected. One book. It's not a magazine. It's just in the magazine bag and board here. I needed some more magazine bags and boards. So that's awesome. All right. Let's see what we got. Got some goodies in here from the seller. Some stickers. Let's see. I Belong, the Mary Marvel Marching Society. Okay. Cool stuff. Anthony's comic book art. All right. That's who I purchased this from. I think it was an eBay buy. I think it was a win, a bid. All right. Anthony Snyder doing things. Okay. All right, guys. So, ooh. Now, I didn't see that. Wow. Even in the pictures. Ooh, okay. This book, ironically, I just talked about this book in one of my videos. It was a top 10 video list. Some of you may know, because you may have just watched it in the last couple of days. This is one that I think is a nice book to spec on right now. If you're in the market of these characters, we're going to see some of these characters in the MCU. And I am specking on these characters. I think they could be brought in and done well in the MCU. This is X-Men number 107, the first full appearance of the Starjammers. Yes, I had this in my top 10 list. And I decided, well, since I'm telling you all that it's a book to look out for, I'm not telling you to buy it. I never tell you guys to buy anything. I just provide facts and data and then my personal opinion on why I think these guys would be a good team to show up in the MCU sooner than later. I said, I'm going to try to pick one up myself. So what I saw that I didn't see in the pictures, I'm going to show you guys. We're going to pull this out of the bag. It's a decent looking copy overall. I mean, the edges on the back are sharp. There's some blending of the edges here. There's definitely some spine ticks. I would say, overall a higher mid-grade, but then I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. Let's try to get a glare. Do you guys see that? Somebody wrote on, somebody was writing on top of this book. Do you see the writing indentations? And there's a lot. Wow, they are deep in there too. Look at that. It's like 2 sentences. I did not see that in the pictures, and that kind of pisses me off. But here's the thing, man. I'm going to go to work on this. I got my tack iron. I got my steel bearing ball. And I'm going to go to work on trying to get these indentations out. They go all the way into the inner pages as well. You guys won't be able to see that, but it's there. Wow. This is going to be a lot of work, man. I'm going to be on this book for a few hours and a day for a few days. Absolutely. JT Mitch, what's going on? Star Jammers. Yeah. Hey, man, look, with the MCU going more cosmic, we know that's expanding. With what they were able to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, I think Star Jammers are right up their alley. We know that Guardians is going to change. James Gunn, he's going to do the 3rd film. He's going to be done. We know that the Guardians are going to take a different look. I think some of these characters, this is the first appearance of Gladiator too. I think Gladiator is a character that can come into play, even in a Guardians film. And I've said this, I keep saying this. I don't think the X-Men are going to be introduced in the MCU as an X-Men team, at least first. I think we're going to see them planted in different ways. And I think Starjammers coming in could be something that could be done extremely, extremely well. Planet Arizona, what's going on? Sixth Element, what's up? This is X-Men Uncanny. X-Men 107, first full appearance of the Starjammers and Gladiator. So very happy to have it. Like I said, I'm going to go to work on those indentations though, man. I got to go look back at the listing and look at the pictures, man, because that's kind of a bummer, but I'll try to take some pictures when I do the work with the tacking iron and in the ball bearing and the press. I'll show you how much I get that indentation out. We'll do a before and after. So, all right. Awesome book to have still. Very happy that I pulled the trigger. It's still a good looking book. All right, so this is what we're going to do next. We're going to do a quick review here. Shadow Rat, what's going on? Tony just picked up X-Men 139. Very nice. The writing, I know, right, guys? Okay. All right, guys. So here's the thing. We're going to talk about Here Comes Calico. Now, this is from Sigma Comics. Sigma Comics, link is below. I highly recommend you guys checking them out. You can get the digital download of this book for only $1.99. Okay, they reached out to me. They sent me issue 1 a few months back. I read it and I'm like, okay. Look, I'm really humble and honest in my reviews. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell it like it is. And I really like what Sigma Comics is doing with Calico for a few reasons, all right? So I'm going to tell you the basics first about what I feel about what they're doing with their brand. The book itself is a very nice book to hold. I know a lot of us collectors, we care about quality. We care about how a book feels in our hands. Very high quality feel, okay, for the cover. Now on the pages, you have a bit of a newspaper print type page. I like that. I cannot stand. I mean, I stand it because I deal with it. I don't like magazine pages in comics. I love actually what DC has been doing with that thick paper that feels, it's like a matte paper and it's got a matte feel to the images on it. Oh man, we got a super chat from Sixth Element. Thank you so much, Sixth Element. Appreciate it. So I know you would hit me up. We got to get together about getting on a show and sitting down talking comics and hip hop and all other good things to talk about, man. We will definitely make that happen. Prime time. Right on, Prime. Really, really appreciate you becoming a YouTube member of the channel. Thank you so much for the continued support. And I love this. When they become members, it turns green. It's my favorite color. Thank you so much, Dom. Appreciate you being here and hanging out. All right. Back to this review. So, guys, these guys are producing a very high quality book, in my opinion. But look, quality of the book itself, isn't everything. Let's talk about what they're doing with the book and the character. So to give a brief background of this character, Calico. All right. Calico is a character that has a bit of a Batman vibe, a little bit of a Black Panther vibe, just because, you know, he's got basically a cat suit or a Panther type cat suit, you know, but a bit of a Batman vibe in terms of how he operates behind the scenes. You know, he collects data. He's a bit of a detective collecting data to try to find these people that he wants to go after, and he's all about justice. Now, this is where it ends with the Batman comparison, because the justice that he serves is brutal. This is a explicit content, mature book, all right? Now, I'm not necessarily personally into that. If you are, though, you're going to like the brutality of these books. The way this book ended, whew, you're going to like it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give it away. But the character himself, he stands up. He stands up for against animal abuse. So they're really taking a message here and delivering the message against something that I don't think gets talked about a lot. So to utilize comic books, we know that comics have always been a platform for real life messages, you know, to get real life messages across. And for them to be doing that with the comic to a comic book character is awesome. You see here, Justice for All. They also sponsor, I'll try not to give the last page away here, but I believe they support the Animal Welfare Institute and the Humane Society, if I'm not mistaken. They did a big ode to MF Doom, which is freaking awesome. Rest in peace, MF Doom. That was dope that they had that in here. I'm gonna read one line from this book, though, right here, that really speaks to what I think that they're doing and why they're doing this right. All right. All right, let's see. I thought I had it bookmarked. Oh man. I lost it. Anyways. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. Here it is. I found it. I apologize for that. Got out of the swing of things, but let's get right back into it. So this is the message that I'm getting from this book and that I really appreciate. Calico is narrating the story, and he says this: hunting is innate to all beings. It's nature. I got no beef with trying to survive off the land and feeding your family. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Hunting is innate to all beings. It's nature. I got no beef with trying to survive off the land and feeding your family. This book takes an approach of the way the industry is today and how animal abuse and animal cruelty is really an industry-wide thing. So they're not promoting like veganism or be a vegetarian, don't eat meat or anything like that. It's not some extreme political ideal in your face. It really takes an approach that says we can be of our natural habitat, but still have the decency and the respect for animals as living beings. And look, as somebody that loves animals, you know, I love cats, I love dogs, I love animals all across the board. I'm all about that, man. I am all about that. But here's the thing, and this is what I said when I reviewed issue 1. They're telling a unique story, and they're telling it pretty well. You know, I mean, is it you know, some Donny Cates or Tinian goodness? I'm not going to put it up there, in my honest opinion. But are they telling a good enough story to where it's like, okay, at the end of it, I want to know what happens next? Absolutely. So when you got a combination of a decent story with the message, with decent art, I mean, you can see here on the pages, with really quality art, a quality book, for a quality price, $1.99 digital download. I believe the book itself is $2.99 for the physical copy, $2.99. For me, as a collector that wants to support independent publishers, I'm going to say support them all day. They're giving you a solid product that's going to be worth your money. So guys, with that being said, check out their link below, sigmacomics.com. Really, really awesome book to check out, in my opinion. Look, if you spend a couple dollars on issue 1 and it's not for you, hey, at least you spend a couple bucks. It's not like you're pouring out a bunch of money. and you got to help out in an independent company, man. So big shout out to Sigma Comics for doing what they're doing. Issue 2 ended on a cliffhanger, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in issue 3. This is an 8-issue limited series, by the way, so definitely excited about seeing where this goes. So there's my review, guys. Check out that link below. Let me get some water, and we're going to get into some awesome talking points. Let's see. Isaac, what's going on, Isaac? Thank you for hanging out. You know, I got to give a big shout out to Isaac because, you know, Isaac has been a friend of the channel for a very long time. And it was about maybe, I don't know, early 2020. So over a year ago, Isaac was in my first ever live stream that I ever did. So Isaac, I just wanted to give you a big shout out. Say I appreciate you for being a friend of the channel and sticking around. Serge, what's going on, Serge? All right, all right. Man, X11, you took that and got it on point. That quote. Awesome, awesome. All right, guys. So we're still going to talk about variants, but I'm going to sidetrack for just maybe 10 minutes here, and then we'll spend a good half hour talking about variants, okay? Check this out. I got to bring attention to something. So you all know that I do, you know, like top 10 videos. They're some of my most popular videos. Although I did a poll in like, man, my home videos and the top 10 investment spec videos were like right there. Like the demand was like equal. But, you know, I do 1 or 2 top 10 or, you know, books to invest in videos every week. When I do these videos, I set a standard for myself in how I do them, okay? One of those things is, for one, I never tell you to buy a book. All right, so those that watch my channel, you know that. I will never tell you to go buy this book. If you want to buy the book, I'll give you my personal opinion of why it may be a good time or maybe not a good time. But what I do is I provide data, raw data, fact around that data, or fact around why a book might be hot, or a decent book to look at for speculative reasons. And then I give you a bit of my own personal opinion on things. If I would buy the book or whatnot, but I always tell you, if you don't have love for the book, if you don't have love for the character, or if you're not willing to take the risk, don't buy anything. I will never tell you to buy a book, okay? From there, another thing that I try to do is I try not to regurgitate what everyone else is talking about. We know that there are countless YouTubers, there's probably more popping up every single day, that are creating YouTube channels and saying, top books to invest in, buy these books right now. I will never tell you to buy a book right now. I'm going to repeat that. And look, I'm not knocking anyone. I want more people to join this community and platform. The more the merrier. But what I see a lot of people doing is they go with the books that everyone's talking about, right? So like right now, you know, Giant Size X-Men is through the roof. Ultimate Fallout 4 is through the roof. Why am I going to keep making videos talking about what's the best 10 books to invest in right now? Or I don't want to keep repeating Hulk 181, Amazing Spider-Man 300. Who wants to hear that over and over again? So what I do is I balance it out with books that I feel are what I call sleeper specs, or books that aren't talked about a lot, that especially when we talk about Marvel books and MCU, are books that are affordable for more of the average collector that doesn't have deep pockets, and that nobody else is talking about. That if like this book right here, nobody's talking about this book. Nobody's talking about this book. I put it in my top 10 X-Men books to invest in right now because it's an affordable book. We all know that the early all-new X-Men books are already kind of getting hot. So this is one out of those books that, look, if you're willing to spend the money, if you like X-Men, I put fact and data to it. It's a solid long-term investment regardless of movie spec. And I do my research on what's going on in the industry, in the entertainment industry with Marvel Studios. It's my job to do that. and I research that. I listen to what Kevin Feige says. I listen to what the execs say. They're not bringing the same team on board. They're going to do things differently. So I put 2 and 2 together. I do my research, and I say, this may be a good spec book. All right? I'm going to read some comments that I got because I shared my top 10 X-Men books to invest in. I shared the link on a Facebook group, and I got to share a couple comments. It's so funny. Listen to this. This is one comment. Weird list. No Gambit, no X-Men 1 or Giant Size X-Men 1, Jubilee but no Shadowcat, Mr. Sinister but no Apocalypse. Seems a bit random with Nimrod, Binary, and Origin of Storm. And I'm not trying to mock this person, but it's like, again, it's to my point. Everyone knows about X-Men #1, and the majority of us can't afford it. Everyone knows about Giant Size X-Men #1, and a lot of us can't afford it. Jubilee, but no Shadowcat. Shadowcat is already getting hot. That book, if I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I think that book in higher grade is like tripled in the last couple of months. All right. Mr. Sinister, but no Apocalypse. Let me speak to this. Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse are 2 books that I feel have been undervalued for a long time. Uncanny 221 and X Factor #6. All right. I've talked about X Factor #6. I just did a top 100 comics to invest in for under $100. Guess what was on that list? X Factor #6 and Uncanny 221, Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister. But here's the thing. This goes back to being educated about what we should spec on and why, especially when it pertains to the MCU, right? What did we just see not too many years ago in the Fox X-Men films? And in my humble opinion, it was done horribly. Apocalypse. Kevin Feige isn't, in my humble opinion, and according to the data and the research that I've done and the statements that he's made, we're not going to see Apocalypse in the MCU right away. We have not seen Mr. Sinister, a very, very underrated villain, very popular villain between X-Men fans, and we didn't see him for the 20 years of Fox X-Men movies. We never saw Mr. Sinister. That's why I put Mr. Sinister on the list. So there's a method to the madness, people. There is a method to the madness. Comic Toby, what's going on? So, Comic Toby, yeah, Forge was on that list. First appearance of Forge, which ties into the time traveling. And we also know that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios is most likely going to diversify. So why Jubilee but no Shadowcat? Jubilee is an Asian character. They're going to want to diversify their team. Forge as a native indigenous character diversifies the team. Plus it ties in with time travel. Bishop, but I didn't talk about Bishop because that's already hot. Everyone's talking about it right now. 282 is through the roof. So there's a method to the madness. I'm going to read one more comment on this matter here. I think this is hilarious. This is hilarious. This is a different person that commented saying this. Comic Book Canon in the house. That's right. We're just over an hour away from the Comic Book Canon show, guys. Chef RD, what's going on? All right. I'm going to read this other guy's comment. Check this out. Dealers hyping dealers stock. Seriously? Let's create a buzz over lackluster keys for movies that might come out so we can sell first appearances of Jubilee, 8 question marks, in slabs for 10 times what they are worth. Cool. Oh, man. I've been talking about my Canadian friends of the channel. Oh, X11. I appreciate you too. I do. But big shout out to Voice Inject. Thank you so much for the super chat. What's up from Toronto? I'm always rocking with my Canadian folks, man. Thank you so much for hanging out today, and thank you so much for helping support the channel with the super chat. Guys, I take every dollar that I get and I put it back into my channel somewhere or the other. I was actually talking with Peter, a good friend of the channel and patron member, Peter, moderator of the channel, first moderator, about because he's a musician. And so am I. So we were talking about how I can upgrade my audio quality. Swaggle House is in the house. What's going on, Swaggle? Yes. Go sub Swaggle, guys. If you aren't yet, you're missing out. And of course, Comic Book Cannon, my other half, Jeff, in the house, hanging out with Comic Book Cannon. So Peter and I were talking about getting some goodies to up my my audio. So that's something I've been looking into over the last month. I take every dollar earned and I put it back into this channel one way or another. Travis, what's going on, Travis? All right, so let's get back to this comment, guys. Let's get back to this comment. I'm going to read it one more time. Dealers hyping dealer stock. Seriously, let's create a buzz over lackluster keys for movies that might come out so we can sell first appearances of Jubilee in slabs for 10 times what they're worth. Cool. My advice to folks, don't open your mouth unless you know what you're talking about. I'm not a dealer. Now, but you can't win, though. You can't win. There's no way you can win, though, even if I was. I do have plans to start selling comic books. I did have one claim sale on IG. I plan to have more, but I only did it once. You guys know me. Almost 35 years of collecting. Before that, claim sale where I sold a dozen books that were only worth a few dollars each. I never sold comic books. And this guy is coming at me like, oh, I'm just a dealer hyping up books to sell them at 10 times what they're worth. The salt in this hobby, guys, the salt in this hobby. But you can't win because here's the thing. I just explained to you why I talk about the books I talk about. Can you imagine if I was a dealer? Like, and this is why I empathize with folks like Comic Tom, who, like, no matter what they do, they're gonna have people hate on them. You can't satisfy everyone. Can you imagine if I did become a dealer and got into being a dealer, which I plan to? I want to have a brick and mortar one day. Can you imagine if I was a dealer and I still talked about affordable books that nobody else is talking about? Then I'd really get the pitchforks out. You can't win. You can't win. So I just felt it was funny that this individual had to come out with all that salt and say that because you can't win. And I want to let everyone know here, I appreciate you all. Overall, I have so many awesome followers. Comic Noob was going on, who are just overall very positive and, appreciate what I do and allow me to be me. And I wanted to thank you guys for that because there's always going to be, a few bad seeds in bad apples. But overall, I appreciate you guys. I listen to all of your guys' feedback. I read all of your guys' comments. So I appreciate you for trying to understand what I do. And hey, I'm always open to doing more. So let's take on that note. Let's go into the variant topic because I discussed this topic, putting my opinion out there, but I wanted to hear your guys' opinion as well. And you guys gave me a lot of valid feedback. Okay. Because this is what the point I was trying to make when I was talking about variants was this. Everyone thinks that variants are ruining the hobby for a multitude of reasons. Not everyone, many people. For many reasons, but a big reason is because they don't hold value. Now, I talked about in that video how I ultimately agree. The majority of variants do not hold value unless you get something like that is paired with a key appearance. So look at the second print variant of Ultimate Fallout 4. Not the second print Sarah Pacelli variant. That book is continuing to increase in value, but it's still because it's Ultimate Fallout 4. It's just the second print variant, right? You get books or you get later print variants where it's like the first cover of Null, arguably. I'm not going to get into all that. But you have variants that hold value, but there is a lot of them out there that are these incentives or exclusives. And, you know, they may be being sold for $39.99, limited quantity. You get people paying $39.99 for them, but then they sell out. And then you find them on eBay and they're selling for double that, 80, 90 bucks. But then a few months down the line, they're back on eBay for that $39.99, and maybe not everyone's even buying them at that point. My thing is this. The majority of people that collect variants know that they are going to put, you know, and I'm talking about variants that cost more than the cover price here. They know that they're going to pay a premium for this book, and they most likely know and are okay with the fact that it might not hold that value. That was my point in the video. I said the majority of people that dish out $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 for a variant know that that book might not hold that value in the long term. But what do? They keep doing it. Why? Because they don't just buy it for monetary value to be able to flip it at some point in time. They want the art. There's other incentives in the book itself of why they want the book. And because it's a limited supply, they're willing to get their hands on it, even though they might not be able to sell it later on for that same amount that they bought it for. So I polled everyone. There was a few people that said, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about. But I polled everyone, and I want to bring up those comments because out of all the comments that I got, out of 1,000 views and however many comments that I got in that video, the majority of you proved my point. So, Jay War, what's going on? We are going to bring in these comments. Raylan, what's going on? All right. Let me get some water, guys. I'm having bad allergies today, too, man. I've been having bad allergies all week, so it's hard for me to breathe right now, and I apologize. My vocal delivery is not on point. It's kind of tough on me right now. Plus, my head is killing me. I've had a sinus headache for 4 days, but still, I'm here hanging out with you guys, doing what I do. Let's get into these comments. Let's find some ones that really say, I buy variants because of this, and I'm okay with them, with putting out this money, even if they're not worth that in the long run. All right, Tricky Clicky, patron of the channel, friend of the channel. If a variant speaks to you loudly enough to grab it, I say congrats, dope cover. If you buy it to flip it and you get stuck with it, I say congrats, dope cover. I like your way of thinking. All right, let's see. B Moy, member of the channel. Well said, man. I only buy variants if, and a big if, the cover artwork is just absolutely gorgeous. I think it's awesome that the comic book business found another way to expand the hobby for others. But to me, I would say normally, do you, boo-boo. B-Moy, yeah. So again, B-Moy is saying, look, if the cover art speaks to me and I really enjoy that art, I'm willing to put some money down for a variant. Joe Dabo says, I love variants because I find the covers much more interesting. Absolutely. We got issues. Variants are great. They give me more options. We live in the Picasso age for comics. Just buy what you like. Absolutely. And I tell you, people look at the art and they are willing to pay that type of money for it. Ron says, man, I love so many variants that are out there. As someone that started collecting in the late 80s, early 90s, in the middle school, I also hate all these variants. Hey, sometimes it's a love-hate relationship. Like I said, guys, I'm not a huge variant person. I hardly ever pay more than cover price. I love the cover B, C option if it's cover price, and I can buy one that's the art speaks to me. And I think sometimes 30 variants seems to be excessive. But look, it's not hurting me none. It ain't hurting me none. It's putting artists to work. And if there's a market for it, so be it. It ain't hurting no one. Huey says, I definitely buy a lot of variants, but for a variety of reasons. Sometimes because of speculation, like Bane's daughter. That's a good point. See, and that goes back to what I said. Sometimes there's a variant that's paired with like a first appearance, and that makes it, you know, where the interest in the demand increases there. He goes on to say, sometimes because I love the cover. I'll buy variants just for the artist. Art germ is one for me too. I also have a thing with being a completionist for some runs, but if you're a completionist, I don't recommend looking at variants as a way to complete. Let's see. Let's get to some that are more speaking to the point. I love variants just because of how beautiful the art is. So there you go, Dark Knight. I love variants just because of how beautiful the art is. It's that simple. You know, they're not buying them to flip. Let's look at this. Welk, I don't know this name. Wielk. The very first single issue I bought was a variance. Usually I prefer to buy and read collected editions, but I just fell in love with that cover. I have it on display right now. For me, single issue covers are art pieces, decorations. If I buy one, it's because I love looking at it. I'm telling you, this is why there's a market for variants, people. D. Barrick, I for sure have bought books just because of the cover. Horrible story or internal art, but wow, that cover rocks, and there you go. Sixth Element, who's in the chat, states, I rock with variants heavily because one of the biggest reasons I collect is the art. I love version variants, the most pure art. Look amazing on the wall or shelf and amazing in slabs. When it comes to books I really read or old school books, I don't care about the variant. These modern comic variants are some of the most gorgeous, amazing piece of arts that anybody can buy. There you go. There you go. Remy's not a variant fan, but that's cool. Brick Hunter says, I myself buy incentive variants for two reasons. Because I really like the series and I want to own a rare book, or because of the cover art. There you go. So there's some, it's rare. There's some rarity involved. I might buy it, but if the art speaks to me, I'll buy that incentive and pay a little more. Let's see. Unkind tater nuts. Nice. Okay. I'm sorry. Unkind tater nuts. I gotta take a moment. That's a good one. Unkind tater nuts. I love it. I love it. I love your name. I love your screen name. Thank you for being here. Unkind tater nuts says, very rare for me to buy a variant unless it's a cover I really like. Oh, do I gotta be a broken record here? Oh man, I don't know if I'll have time to get through all of these. Peter left it awesome comics. Gucci down to the socks, baby. Let's see. I love all variants. Andress, Gary Woods. It's a choice, definitely. Goonish Lurker doesn't spend out on variants. Variants can be fun, says Travis. Yeah, X11 variants just tend to have the sickest covers. I buy variants for one reason. I like them. Yep. Let's see. Chris says I've only gotten 3 variants of Venom 25, Shannon Mare variant. Appreciates the artwork. I'm telling you. DS, if the artwork is super tight, I will buy a store exclusive or variant because I love great artwork and I will enjoy it much more if I can look at the great piece of art on my wall. Yep. Man, guys, I'm telling you. I buy both. Cape Halapod says I buy both. Typically get the variant, version, or limited I want for the first 3 issues, then typically pick up only basic cover A, B, or C the rest of the run. Corey D, I like to buy incentive variants, but only when I get them for a good price, typically at ratio or less. Paul Harper says he usually buys the regular covers, but if he sees a variant that's cool to cover, I'll buy that one, but only if it's affordable. David says I buy variants because I love the virgin covers. The value is second level. Here we go. I have spent upwards of $55 for a variant because I wanted the cover. Porthos, what's going on? Midlab, Vincent, what's going on, guys? So, guys, I mean, I can keep going here, but I think the point's already made. There were a couple other more that said, yeah. There were a couple other comments that said, look, I'll drop $30, $40, $50 just because I love the cover and I want the cover. I don't care about value on the secondary market. So whoops, where are we at here? I lost you guys. There we go. I'm going to pull this out. Let me get some water here. So again, guys, I really want to make this known. You got to understand, if you're not into variants, that's okay. But you got to understand, first off, you got to stop listening to people on social media at face value. And it always tends to be the ones that are like really negative about things tend to have the loudest voices, it seems sometimes. The majority of people that buy variants don't buy them to get rich off of them, all right? They buy them because they're willing to spend the money to get a unique piece of art. When I've done it, when I've spent more than cover price on a variant, it's been for that reason. I bought a I think it was an unknown Michael Mayhew variant of Venom #1. That was the cover price. That was a cover swipe of Amazing Spider-Man 300. I think I spent $30 on that simply because I love the art and I love the homage cover. I don't care. And I even thought about getting it in a nice slab. Not because I want to up the value or sell it one day, because I love the cover and I'd like to put it on display. I bought the Shattered Comics variant of the Amazing Spider-Man 800 variant, where it was the Amazing Spider-Man 300 Shattered homage. I paid like $30 for that. I bought that. I used to have it back here showing off, but I bought that Black Cat #1 KRS variant. I think that was another Mayhew art. I paid like what, $20 for that because I love the art. Very rare do I spend more than cover price for a variant, but the few times that I've had, I plan on never selling them, and that's the majority of folks. If there are people that are going after incentive variants, limited print run variants because they want to flip, that's the risk that they're willing to take. And I'm going to tell you this, because to those people that think that variants are somehow ruining the market because they're going to lose value one day and crash the market, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Because here's the thing. Those people that may buy comics, variant comics, because they think that they're going to be able to flip them and make big money and make profit off of them, if they do that and they get burnt out or jaded by that, I'm going to tell you one thing. Most likely, they're not going to leave the hobby. But if they do, it's not going to be enough to make any type of dent in this hobby whatsoever. And I'm going to tell you this, and I know this because I watch. My eyes are always on the industry, on the hobby, on the collectors. The majority of people that complain the most about the hobby, the variants are horrible. I don't buy new books. I don't even read new comics anymore. I'm not spending any money on comic books anymore. The majority of people that take that tone, you know what they do? They go right back out and spend more money on comic books. I'm telling you. They're on their phone, or they're on their laptop. Or they're on their phone. They got 2 apps open. They got Facebook app because they're complaining on YouTube. They got 3 apps open. They're on Facebook app because they're complaining on YouTube about how variants are ruining the hobby, YouTubers are ruining the hobby, gimmicks are ruining the hobby, speculators are ruining the hobby, right? And then they have eBay open, and they're sitting there scrolling what's on eBay, why they have YouTube open and they're listening to Comic Tom or something. It's top 10. I'm telling you, man, the majority of people that spread this negative outlook do so without any fact to base their claims to say that these are things that we should be worried about. And at the same time, they're still pumping money into the hobby. Oh yeah, hey, big shout out to EGS for the art label. Their links below, guys. That art label looked beautiful, beautiful. Custom art label from EGS. Anything that employs more artists, especially now, I gotta get view as a good thing. X11, I hear you, man. And again, it's like people. I'm telling you, we are an entitled group. We are an entitled community. Oh, even me, hey, I'm entitled in my own way. We're so entitled. And we got to put our entitlements in check, guys. We do. We really do. We get stuck in our ways, and we think that the hobby should revolve around us. And when it doesn't, we get defensive and childish, and we point fingers and say, oh, but it's ruining my life. It's hurting me. It's affecting me. When in all reality, it's not. All across the board. These new characters that you don't like because you like your legacy characters, they're not ruining comic books. They're not ruining your life. Go buy your legacy characters. Okay? Variants, 30 variants to an issue isn't ruining your life. Go buy cover A. Telling you, man. And then on the flip side, look at the positive things. It's just another sub-market of the genre. It's bringing money into the hobby. It's bringing money into dealers. It's bringing money into LCSs. It's bringing money in for the publishers. It's bringing money into artists. Come on. Variants are not going anywhere. They've been, over the last 10 plus years, they've grown and grown and grown. And you just got to deal with it. And in my book, I'm all about staying positive and appreciating how other people do their thing while I keep doing mine. And at the end of the day, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. Tom Nordy, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, is it ruining the hobby? Does a bear wipe his ass with a fluffy white rabbit? Erect. What's going on? All right. Okay. Well, hey, big shout out to your wife. I'm going to take that as Michael Jackson bad. Big up to all the wives, girlfriends. Big up to all the women in the hobby. Big up to all the women collectors, the women artists, the women writers, for doing their thing, because they're just as important to this hobby as anyone else. That's what's up. So we got a few more minutes, guys. Appreciate you being here today. I'll read through some comments. Let me know your guys' thoughts about anything that we discussed today. Of course, we are 28 minutes away from the Comic Book Cannon Show. I hope to see each and every one of you over there. We have an awesome show tonight, as always. Comic Toby, we should boycott comics for a year. Come back the next year just for the fun of it. How would that be fun, man? No way. No way. Caleb, Dynamite Comics made me buy hundreds of variants in the early 90s. Caleb, it sounds like similar to my Warlock in the Infinity Watch issue. You might need some rehabilitation there. I don't know, maybe some trauma lingering. But I don't think anybody made you do anything. Right? Cool comic guy. I will say it would be nice if a store got more spread out. Seems to me like they're doing keys and number ones. Seems got more spread out. If store X, cool comic guy, I'm not really understanding what you're saying. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that. Evan, my wife collects Fiona Staples cover. The value of her collection is impressive for the short time she's collect. That's nice. Evan, it's full saga run. Nice. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. For sure, for sure. Well, guys, again, I really appreciate you being here today. I want to give a big shout out one more time to Sigma Comics for doing their things. Help support independent comic book companies. SigmaComics.com. Check out their link below. Locksmith Comics. Grab the unlockable decal variant for Layla Star 2 this week. Nice. I got to get issue 2 still. You're trying to tell me this amazing art is bad for the hobby? Get out of here. Get out of here. Absolutely, man. Locksmith, I hear you, man. There are a lot of books out there, but stores do their exclusive on keys and number 1s. Well, cool comic guy. I mean, think of it. Why would a store exclusive? There's a lot of money that goes into store exclusives. They have minimum orders. It's thousands of dollars. They got to pay for the artist. Why would an LCS put money out for a store exclusive on a random like Batman Scooby-Doo number 2? Or just, I mean, like a random Hellions 11. Like just a random issue that doesn't have spec to it. Or, I mean, look, I already talked about that. The ones that hold value are the ones that already have some type of inherent value, like a first appearance, some type of spec value, a first issue, something like that, right? So if I am a dealer or an LCS that wants to spend $10,000 up to that much, maybe anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 on an exclusive cover, why would I'm gonna pick a book that I think can have selling power for other variables or other factors like a first appearance or a number 1 of an issue before I go with just a random issue. So you got to understand, it's business involved in collectors or LCSs can't just throw out their money. They got to be smart about what they do. So I hope I brought some context to your question of why it's predominantly first appearances or number 1 issues. It's because it's a bigger selling point for them. They can move more units that way. Big shout out to Locksmith Comics for becoming a YouTube member of the channel. Thank you so much, Locksmith. I don't know if Locksmith has his own channel, Locksmith Comics. I'm going to check that out. You guys should too. And if he does, go give him a sub. Thank you so much, Locksmith. I absolutely appreciate you hopping on and becoming a member of the channel. Thank you. Erect. I absolutely think variants are a good thing for the hobby. They're not really for me. They're not for, unless they're a cover price. Like I absolutely love having an option B or C or D. I love having that option as long as they're a cover price. The incentives and the exclusives aren't really for me. I would rather take that money and buy a Bronze Age book, maybe a Silver Age book, whatever the case may be. But they are a very, very good thing for the hobby, right? It's like folks that aren't lactose intolerant or folks that aren't, that are gluten intolerant, right? Say you don't have a gluten problem or a lactose problem, and you go into a grocery store and you see one aisle with gluten-free product and lactose-free product, and you're throwing a fit. What? Are you kidding me? What's the grocery store? Rayleigh's or Lucky or whatever the grocery store is, Safeway. Are you kidding me? How dare you have an aisle full of gluten-free and lactose-free product? You're ruining my milk. You're ruining my, my Frosted Flakes cereal that's full of gluten. You're ruining my gluten-filled pasta. How dare you? Dude, go to the next aisle, go buy your gluten-filled pasta, your Frosted Flakes, and then go to the dairy aisle and buy your cheese and your cow milk. It ain't hurting you. What it's doing is expanding the market base. So now you still are tending to the market that buys pasta, Frosted Flakes, gluten-filled cereal, and dairy and cheese and all that. But then you're tending to another market that can't consume that stuff. So now what are you doing? You are providing a product for more than one market. That's what variants are all day, every freaking day. So to those, the cover A's are the meat, are the all beef sirloin patties. The cover B are the Beyond Beef, right? Cover A is the cow milk. Cover B is the soy milk. Cover C is the almond milk, and the exclusive incentive is the oat milk. Nobody is ruining anything. It's 100% healthy for the hobby. So, appreciate that question because I love it. Jacob, I got to say a shout out to a few folks before we head out of here. So, prime time. Who else compares variants to gluten-free food? I love it. Appreciate you, Don. Thank you, man. Your comparison is totally wrong, says Jacob. It is not wrong, Jacob. We can agree to disagree. But what I want to do, Jacob, because I got to get out of here. I got to get ready for the cannon. But here's the thing. And don't take this wrong. I'm not attacking you, Jacob. I was a lawyer in my past life. So I challenge you. This is a challenge. You're telling me my comparison is totally wrong. It's absolutely not. It's absolutely not wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, I'm not going to tell you why. I already told you some why. So this is what I want to do. You're wrong for telling me I'm wrong. But here's how we're going to prove who's wrong. Jacob, I want you to find a video of mine. You can find the variant. I don't know if you watched it yet. Go find the video I did talking about variants. The variants are ruining the hobby. I did it like a week and a half ago. Find that video. If you haven't watched it, watch it if you want to. And leave a comment. And I want your comment to be organized as a hypothesis. Meaning, you're making a claim. A hypothesis is a claim. I want you to provide a thesis statement of why you feel your claim is valid. All right. And then I want you to give at least 2, maybe 3 points to validate your argument. I want you to do that. Because if you don't, you're just making a baseless claim right now. If you do that, I will come back and do the same in a reply to you. I will create a hypothesis. All right? I will create an argument to counter your argument. I will provide you with the thesis statement, and then I will provide you 2 or 3 factual points. And when I say 2 to 3 points, that's not your opinion. Those are facts. Provide me data. Provide me substance. Validated fact. Once you provide factual data, then you can elaborate on that factual data with your opinion. But don't come at me with your opinions. Because you can come up here and say, you're wrong because I think, no. I want to know fact. You think this? Provide the fact. All right? Challenge you to that. But you got to put in the work. You want to prove, and if you prove me wrong, I will come on my next live stream. I will even invite you on my live stream. You can show your face or whatnot. You don't need to come if you don't want to. You can come on my channel, and I will admit to my audience that I am 100% wrong and you were right. All right? How about that? And that goes to anyone, anybody. If I ever, and I'm not saying I'm not always right. I'm always right. I make mistakes, especially, talking about like, comic books. Somebody corrected me like saying, oh, no, that's the first appearance. I'm like, thank you so much. But when I make an argument, I stand firm in my confidence. But if any of you can ever prove me wrong, I challenge you to it. And if you can, I will admit to it and I will celebrate you. I will celebrate you. All right, guys. With that being said, product versus packaging. No. A variant comic book is a cover of a comic. You know what's packaging? A bag and board. A bag and board is packaging. A different cover on a comic book, a cover is not packaging. Just because the story on the inside is the same. This is a completely different product. Cover A to cover B to a variant exclusive is a completely different product. 100%. Like I said, though, I got to go. I appreciate you all. Jacob. Yeah. No. Yeah, you're way off, Jacob. I got to go. I appreciate you. I do. Please don't take this the wrong way. It's all love and respect, man. Shoot me an email, too, if you want. If you want to send it to an email, captainjournalcomics@gmail.com. I'm willing to have this conversation. I do appreciate you. I wish you were here earlier on because we could have went back and forth, but I do got to go get ready for the Cannon show. Okay, now you're taking it. Jacob, this ain't the way to handle it. I told you, man. It's all about respect. Prove me wrong. Don't come on here and start belittling me now. I ain't got no time for that. Come on, man. All right, appreciate it. No hate. Because making comments like, how did you ever make it as a lawyer? First off, I was never a lawyer. That was my past life. I was joking. I did study law, though. But don't make slights like that. That's not mature. That's childish as hell. And that doesn't allow us to have a respectful debate. Because I like getting animated and into it, and I like arguing with people to where we shake hands and break bread afterwards, even if we end up disagreeing. All right. So don't go the cynical route. Don't go and belittle. But your whole analogy of a cover being wrapping is completely wrong. I can't get into it anymore right now. But like I said, I would love to have this conversation with you. Leave me a comment. Leave me an email. All right. Appreciate you being here. I appreciate everyone being here today. Thank you guys so much again. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to all the members and the new members that signed up today. Thank you all for those few that left super chats. I really appreciate you all. I hope to see all of you guys over on the Cannon in 24 minutes. Link is below. See you guys there. Peace.